All right, we're going to look at factoring difference of two squares, and perfect squares. These are really, really easy problems because they're the trick ones, or there is a trick to them. I shouldn't say there's a trick. They're trick ones because we're going to look at those in a second. Anyway, difference of two squares. Difference of two squares has to have a minus sign between two terms that can be square rooted. So I believe I've attached a common list of square roots, so it should make this really easy. So 4 square roots to 2, 5 square roots to 5, there's a minus in between. And these are our lookalikes. So 2 is the square root of 4, square root of x squared is x, minus square root of 5, 25 is 5. And then the other one is the opposite of that, 2x plus 5. Remember when we FOILed these before, shortcut version is, oh, they're lookalikes. Square this term, 4x squared, square this term, 25, put a minus sign in between. So 121b squared minus 625y squared, there's a minus in between. 121 square roots to be 11, 625 square roots to be 25. The exponents on both of these terms are also perfect squares, so this is going to work. So 11b minus 25y and 11b plus 25y. It doesn't matter if you put the plus or the minus first, doesn't really matter. All right, perfect squares. Perfect squares are a trinomial, meaning there's 3 terms. When I look at them, the front and the last term can be square rooted. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 25 is 5. And then if you remember our perfect squares, there was one factor that squared. The last trick was to multiply 2 times the coefficients on each of those. So 2 times 5 is 10, times 2 is 20. So yay, that works. So this factors into 2x plus 5. This one, 64, square root is 8. 49, the square root is 7. Z to the 4th has to be divisible by 2. 8 is divisible by 2, so this is a perfect square. Now we just have to make sure that it works in the middle. 8 times 7 is 56, times 2, 56 times 2 is 112. There's a minus on this one, so the only thing I have to know is that in the middle, I'm going to put a minus sign. So we already said 8z squared, because 4 divided by 2 is 2, minus 7b to the 4th. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now, a couple of things to notice, because these are pretty easy, is that sometimes there's tricks. So I'm just going to show you those tricks really quick. Sorry about that. I forgot to delete the eraser part, so let's try this again. There are tricks. These are ones that don't factor. So I know they don't factor because when I look at this, there's something wrong. Right here, it looks like a difference of 2 squares. There's only 2 terms, but there's a plus sign in here. Nope, doesn't factor. Has to be a minus sign. For the perfect squares, the trick is to do that last little part. So 4 square rooted is 2, 35 square rooted is, wait. 35 doesn't square root. Nope. Square root of 4 is 2, square root of 5, or 25 is 5. But then when I multiply 2 times 5 times 2, I get 20, not 10. So those do not work. They are not factorable. And that's how easy these type of problems can be.